Greetings, everybody. Patricia A. Murray here, talking to you live from Durham, North Carolina. And remember, folks, to look in the camera there. I have three friends here, all from Women Voting Our Values. Gloria De Los Santos.
Hello.
Emma Akpan.
Hi.
Tara Romano.
Hello.
Now, we're all going to speak nice and loud and clear. Now, they wanted to learn how to do a show, a Google Plus Hangout. And I figured instead of just having them as guests and showing them kind of secondhand how it's done, I figured I'll take them to the deep end and just drop them right in. So with that, I introduce you to Women Voting Our Values. I'll duck out. This is your show.
Thank you for watching us, and we're glad to have you here this evening, knowing that you have so much to do than just sit here and watch us. Again, my name is Gloria De Los Santos.
I'm Emma Akpan.
My name is Tara Romano.
And our group is called Women Voting Our Values. Women Voting Our Values is a campaign that is arranged around women's issues and how we feel about what's going on in the community, not only the community, but the state and the national issues itself. So what we're going to be talking about, the importance of women getting out to vote today. So we're going to be rambling for a small portion of the time, so excuse us. This is our very first show, so we hope you enjoy it. So, ladies, today we're going to talk about women voting our values. And that word values has really brought up a huge discussion about what are our values. And voting is one value that we really have, that we should basically express. But with everything that's going on, do you guys feel the same way I feel, that they're trying to take away our values and our voting rights?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are trying to define our values for us and not giving us the opportunity to do it for ourselves, especially with the voter ID bill that is blocking a lot of people from voting. They're deciding what our values are.
Oh, wow.
Well, I definitely think there is that where they want to put out what they think are, like women in general, we care about education and we care about the economy, and we care about how our kids are going to be doing. And, we also care about like wanting to make our own decisions for our bodies ourselves. But I think there is a lot of, well, we'll just tell you what you care about, and we'll just tell you, there's it feels a lot of times like they're not really listening to women. It's more like, we'll just tell you why we think these programs are good for you. And if you just listen to us and repeat it enough, you'll just sort of come around to our way of thinking, as opposed to listening to what women are saying and trying to take in what we're saying and then make policies that reflect our lives and our experiences.
Yeah, but you also got to think about a lot of women in general, a lot of single women, and a lot of women in general do not vote this time of the term of the election because they really don't know who to vote for. And they don't know what individuals stand for. When I talk to a lot of women, they really don't know if they should vote for, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, Tom Tillis or Kay Hagan, because they do not know their values of what they stand for. I think education has a lot to do with that. And people need to vote this term in the election, because this is something that's not only important, like voting for the president, but these are individuals that are deciding our factors of how we deal with our daily lives.
And it's a lot of local elections that's going on right now, and local elections decide our daily lives much more than national politics. So when we care about our communities, we should be voting in all of the elections, especially in the midterms.
Yeah, I definitely think there is this idea that there are off-year elections, and one of the things that we are trying to promote is to make sure that every election is important. Like we have them, they're important, and there are a lot of local races on your ballot. My ballot is long. I'm in Wake County. My ballot is very long, and I definitely don't know a lot of people yet on that ballot, but that's why you can print them off now. You can go to the State Board of Election website and print off your ballot. You put in, I think, just your address, and it'll pull up your ballot, and you pull it off, and you can just sort of take some time to look over. There's a constitutional amendment on there this time. There's a lot of judicial races, and judicial races are very important. Like the things, the judicial branch is our third branch of government, and it helps us. It's another way that we can protect against certain legislative overreach. We can still protect our rights through the court system, when we feel like maybe they're being challenged legislatively.
Mhm.
So it's
Right.
important that we understand like who is going to be on those benches, and we make sure that we know who they are, and make sure that we vote in a way that reflects our values with those.
Well, some of the things that I found out is that a lot of them are really focusing on minimum wage, health care, child care. Education is a huge issue around teacher issues, but you don't hear anything about parent advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of schools nowadays, and I mentioned at one of the conferences, is that if you really want parents and women to get out and vote, you need to invite them in. And you don't see that enough. You don't see them saying, hey, look, we're going to go to a women's group and just going to say, hey, look, we're going to sit down and talk about what we feel and how we feel about a particular topic. I just feel that they're not really giving us a chance to voice our concerns and answer our questions.
Yeah, I think that might be a problem with politics, is that it seems like those people are the experts and I'm just a person living in the community. But actually, you're the expert because you're the voter, and you know what you need. So it's a wonderful opportunity for people to say what they want in their communities, and especially vote in every election, because it will decide your daily lives.
Right. And women are, we're the expert in our own lives. I think that's a really important thing for us always to remember. Like, we know what's going on in our lives. We know what works best for us. And voting isn't the only way to express that with your elected officials, but it's a good straightforward way. It's a relatively simple way to do it. We're trying to keep it simple. I mean, sometimes we feel like the election laws are getting a little complicated. But they have been, taking away the same party or same day registration. Like, we have that back for now. I know that maybe is going into the Supreme Court this week.
Yeah.
But I think there's still no more same party ticket, right?
No,
they took that away. That's done. So, which says, that means that you have to check each and every race on your ballot, or else you might miss some. And you also want to make sure you turn your ballot over. Right. In case there's stuff on the back. And the constitutional amendment will be on the back.
Right. And like Tara said, print out your ballots before you go and just take a glance at all the people you have to vote for.
And also women that had been formerly incarcerated, we need to make sure that those individuals know that they can actually vote, because when you talk to a lot of them, they do not realize that they can actually get out there and vote. So it's important for us as women to stand together and make sure this information is being distributed out. And one of the information that I do have is called you can't say it. It's called the New Rules of Voting. I'm trying. It's the new rules. It's the new rules of voting. And it basically goes down the different rules of how to vote in general here in North Carolina. And it is being provided by Democracy NC. And for women that do not know that had a felony conviction, here is some more tidbit of information that I do have. You can.
Where's your card say?
On the back of it says how to register a vote. It basically telling you that you go and you fill out the form step by step. Make sure that you put down that information and just fill it out, just a regular ballot with your name, your address, and sign it at the bottom. If you do not sign it at the bottom, you will not get a voter registration card. Be delivered to you in the mail. So one of the things about Women Voting Our Values that I found to be really good is that we address so many issues that women and men are really concerned about. Minimum wage, Medicaid expansion, school funding, voter suppression, like we feel suppressed right now. And not only that, we talk about issues that not only hit on a statewide level, but here in the city, the county, and even a national level. So one of the things that I've been hearing is minimum wage. Right now, our minimum wage is $7.25. And if you are working in a restaurant getting tips, I think it's like $2.25 if I'm not mistaken, which is completely terrible. Insane. It is really insane. So you're making like less than $14,000 a year. And with the way the economy now, there is no way you can live off $14,000 a year unless you are magic and you got money growing on trees. So one of the things I did want to talk about today is how can we get the women to turn out to vote on this issue? I mean, one of the campaigns said that campaign politicians said that they will be supporting an increase in minimum wage. I'm not going to say who that is, but that's something that we can all look up the information here on our voting our values. Said that they would basically support the idea of increasing the minimum wage. And there is a campaign going around at 11.25 or 12.25. I think that's the fast food workers.
$15.
$15.
Yeah.
I'm thinking $15 would be appropriate with the days and the time.
I think so too. And you know, most people who work in the low wage jobs are women.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's important to you, talk to the lady that's at McDonald's while you're buying your burger and ask her if she's getting out to vote. Make sure she goes to the polls.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And Medicaid expansion is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It reaches so many different levels, not only the poor families, but middle class families, and even some rich is being affected by the minimum Medicaid expansion campaign. There are a lot of children out there that are not going to be covered, and a lot of families are not going to be covered if we do not expand Medicaid here in North Carolina. And it's just really bad. And you find a lot of the politicians are talking about Medicaid expansion. We need to do our education and finding out who are against and who is for Medicaid expansion, because it affects your life, affect our lives on a day-to-day basis.
And I think too that you really do see how there's response from legislators when we talk about these issues. Like, for example, with this short session that we just had,
Right.
they knew they had to talk about teacher pay.
Oh yeah.
Because that was a big issue, and that was something that they probably really weren't going to want to discuss, during the short session. But they knew they couldn't get out of that short session without addressing the issue, and that was because, and that wasn't even with an election. That was because, but it was coming up to an election. That we were, we had brought that up so many times at protests and at the More Monday demonstrations, and that had been a big issue. And so they responded to that. So that is something like they are listening. And it's just then when we don't vote, and we're not telling them what they think, they can't read our minds, and plenty of people probably they don't necessarily want to know what you think, but that is their job to know, be responsive to us, no matter what their political affiliation is, no matter what your viewpoints are. Like their job as a legislator is to be responsive to what their constituents want, and so we have to let them know that. And I do think, like with Medicaid expansion and minimum wage or low wage work, like with so many people in North Carolina being affected by those directly now, like I was a little surprised at like the number of jobs in North Carolina that are considered low wage. But definitely, I think like over half of the jobs that have been created since the Great Recession have been low wage service jobs. So a lot of people are feeling that, and they feel reality of what that means to be working a lot of hours, working hard, and still not able to get by, and then not having any health insurance that comes with their job. So trying to find some public insurance. So I think the idea is then trying to make sure that these people feel empowered enough to vote, because I think there is also this sort of disenfranchised.
Yeah, good.
Well.
When you're stuck in a low wage job and you don't feel good because you don't have any health insurance, it can be really hard to try to get out. But it's really important because it's obviously affecting your personal life and the lives of your family too.
And it's also good to remind your employee that you want to get out and take time out to go and vote. At least give you an extra few minutes to go and vote, because we all know those lines are going to be long. Early voting starts on the 25th.
October 23rd.
October 23rd. And it's important for us to fill those places and pack as many people there as possible. So when it comes down to that November the 7th, the last day,
November 1st.
November. Oh my gracious!
November 1st is the last day of early voting.
I'm sorry. That last day, the polls will be so packed that you just want to give up in line.
Right.
I say, please do not give up, because these are issues that impact not just us, but our families. And I'll go back to the federal minimum wage for tipping, $2.13 an hour. That is basically lower than the poverty rate of $4,000. Way below the family poverty rate. That's just ridiculous. I mean, you just can't live off $14,500 $500
And
a
there's
year.
people, they're providing a service. Like, I know there's this idea, I think, that if they have to depend on tips, they will work harder, but you're really just depending on the people who are tipping, maybe
Right.
being in a good mood that day. Or
Yeah,
not
right.
being, like, some people are really kind of cheap and they don't like
Yeah.
to tip.
Right, to
And-
be continue on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we all know women bear the brunt of the new North Carolina voting restrictions.
Mhm.
318,000 voters are basically women. We are the majority. We are, let's just say, we have that power to turn and change things. So when a discussion was brought up yesterday is why aren't these women getting out and vote? I just think that they just do not know, or again, they just do not understand the power that they have in their hands to actually change laws here in North Carolina. I don't think they're educated enough. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to find different places that you can actually go and listen to some of the candidates. Again, on October the 7th, it's going to be a huge debate. Tom Tillis and I'm going to say Renee Elmers. That is Renee Elmers and Clay Aiken on Monday at 7 o'clock. But Tom Tillis and Kay Hagan. And I think everybody really need to listen to them and use that as your deciding factor of who you want to vote for. And do your research. And by doing your research, use that tool to go and vote.
I would also like to point out, like, your local League of Women Voters.
Right.
They a lot of times sponsor candidate forums. And for example, there's going to be one in Raleigh on Thursday, October 9th at the Unitarian Universalist Church. It'll be a lot of Wake County candidates, and it'll be sort of a meet and greet. It's not really a forum, but other counties will have forums where they actually have a debate between the candidates. So I would look for the League of Women Voters North Carolina website, and then just check out their chapters and find one near you and see if they're having any debates or forums scheduled. And there are a lot of other groups, also local groups, that will do schedule candidate forums as well. And that's a great opportunity to go hear what they say and then also ask them questions.
So we would like to thank you for listening in on our first show. It will be better next time. I promise you. It will be much smoother and better. We will have music and probably some live entertainment. Don't hold me to that. But we would like to thank you. And again, my name is Gloria De Los Santos.
I'm Emma Akpan.
And I'm Tara Romano.
And remember, we are the people.
All right. How'd you like that, folks? I think it was a great debut.
Well, thank you.
So you're going to have your very own show, and you think it'll be ready?
Gloria, tell people about the voter train.
Oh, yeah, we do. We are conducting a voter train on early voting, which is the 23rd of October. We are actually going around. We're going to rent vans to take people to the polls. And we're going to be dressed up in 70s outfits. Yes. Foxy Brown. And Emma's going to be somebody else.
I think I'll go for Grace Jones.
That's good.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Very bad black woman. So we're going to actually be dressed up in our 70s outfit. We're going to make it extremely fun. We hope that you can join us. You can go to actionnc.org to find out our different locations, as well as NC Women Matter, to actually NC Women United. I am so sorry, Tara. NC Women United
Matter too.
Yeah.
There you go. We are going to be listing our locations of where you can actually ride with us and have a fun time. We promise you it will be fun.
Yeah.
So,
And we're also having the Women's Night Out
oh yeah.
on October 21st.
Yes.
Yes.
In Durham.
And at the American Tobacco Campus.
At the Full Frame Theater. It will start at 6 o'clock. We're going to have live entertainment. We're going to have recreation place for the kids to play. And we promise you that we will have a loud speaker there, a very good speaker. And we're going to be discussing issues and congratulating different ones that have actually done an enormous job this year. Did a very good job. And probably be issuing out an award. Yeah. So it's going to be a real good time.
Yes, yes.
So definitely, check out Action NC and ncwu.org. We'll be trying to, we're on Facebook and Twitter, and just, keep up with what we're doing. Because we really just want to make sure people feel energized about this election, and that they go out and vote. It hopefully would only not take you too long to go vote. Like check your polling place, check the hours, and then just make a plan. Like write it on your calendar so that you don't just sort of let it go to the wayside. And then suddenly it's election day, and you're like, wait, what happened? I didn't get to vote. So.
And if you have any questions, you can email at us. I'm gloria@actionnc.org.
I'm Emma at blueprintnc.org.
Well, you can send something to, it's info@ncwu.org, and that'll come to me.
Excellent. Excellent show. I thought that was great.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, so don't click off yet. Not yet. So I just want to say I'm Patricia A. Murray. This is TV Skywriter. Be sure to read the Durham Skywriter, Durham's online community paper, all positive, full of great information. Radio Skywriters on WNCU, which is one of our local NPR stations here in Durham. If you would like to be a guest here on the show, I talk to people all over the country. I even had a guest from England once. So if you want to get in contact with me, just write to durhamskywriter@gmail.com. I will see you next week. Have a great week. Good night.